Are you over 60 and worried about money? If you are not alone. Many people reach their 60s and realize retirement does not feel as secure as it was supposed to feel. Some were laid off, some saved but not enough. Some faced medical costs, family responsibilities, divorce, inflation, or years when life became more expensive than the plan allowed. AARP found that 1 in 5 Americans over 50 has no retirement savings. More than half worry they will not have enough money to support themselves in retirement. The National Council on Aging has reported that millions of households with adults over 60 struggle to afford basic living needs. So when someone over 60 searches for ways to make money, it is not always curiosity. Sometimes it is pressure. And pressure can make the wrong income idea look safe. That is the danger. After 60, the wrong income idea does not just waste money, it wastes time. Most videos ask, what can make money? But after 60, the better question is, what can make money soon enough, safely enough, and realistically enough to deserve your limited time? The key word is soon. The best income idea after 60 is usually not the one with the biggest promise. It is the one with the shortest believable path from something you already know to someone willing to pay for it. That is what this video is about. Not easy money, not passive income, not a perfect business idea. But how to avoid income ideas that are too slow, too risky, or too expensive to recover from. Because after 60, a bad income path can take confidence, savings, energy, and months or years you may not get back. Income advice. Changes after 60. A younger person can test ideas for years and still have time to recover. After 60, the math changes. A wrong choice can cost 6 months of focus, a year of energy and confidence at the exact moment confidence matters most. So judge any money-making idea by 5 things. How quickly can it be tested? What does it cost before it pays? How much new learning does it require? Will someone actually pay for it? And can you walk away if it fails? Some income ideas are reversible. You can test a small service, take 1 client, try a part-time role, or use a skill you already have and see whether someone pays. But other ideas are heavy from the start. They ask for money before proof, training before payment, an audience before income, trust in a platform, seller, or system before you know whether the opportunity is real. That is where many people lose time, not because they are lazy, not because they are foolish, but because the idea was sold as simple, while the real path to income was much longer than it looked. So before looking at any income idea after 60, ask 3 questions first. How long before this can make real money for me? What do I have to risk before I find out? Does this use something I already know, or am I starting from zero? Those 3 questions lead to the first practical place to look. Starting from zero after 60 is not impossible, but it is expensive, sometimes in money, sometimes in time. If an income idea cannot be tested quickly, it may already be too expensive for your situation. So the first place to look is not a new business idea. It is something you already know. That may sound less exciting than starting an online store, launching a channel, buying into a system, or learning the latest digital skill. But after 60, boring can be powerful. The fastest path to income is often the path with the least distance between what you already understand and what someone else already needs. Maybe you spent years in accounting, administration, sales, operations, education, healthcare, construction, logistics, customer service, management, bookkeeping, compliance, real estate, hospitality, or a trade. Maybe you know how customers behave, how paperwork moves, how schedules break, how invoices get delayed, or how small businesses lose time. That experience may not feel like a business idea, but it can be closer to income than most new ideas being sold online. You are not starting with a blank page. You are starting with pattern recognition. That can become consulting, advisory work, tutoring, bookkeeping support, administrative help, training, scheduling support, customer follow-up, or specialist contract work. The form matters less than the test. Can you name a real problem you already understand? Can you identify someone who pays to solve it? Can you offer a small version of the help before building a whole business around it? A weak income idea often begins with identity. I am going to become an online entrepreneur. I am going to build passive income. I am going to start a digital business. A better income path after 60 begins with a smaller question. Who has a problem I already know how to reduce? That is less glamorous, but it is more realistic. And realism matters when time is limited. Income does not always come from being new. It comes from being useful. After 60, existing experience is not the only path. Many people think the only choices are a job or a full business. There is a middle ground, simple service work. Some income comes from helping people, businesses, or households with work they already need done. Scheduling, customer follow-up, basic admin, proofreading, document cleanup, appointment setting, online research, email support, bookkeeping support, tutoring, phone-based customer service. These are not magic income ideas, they are work. That is why they can be safer than a fantasy business. There is a task, there is a person or business that needs the task done, and there may be a way to test it before spending months preparing. The danger is turning simple service work into a complicated business before it has earned the right to become one. You do not need a perfect logo. You do not need a full website. You need a clear service, a real buyer, and a small first test. Can this be explained simply? Can it lead to a first payment without months of unpaid learning? Can it be started without risking savings? If yes, it may deserve attention. But even here, there is a trap. A new skill after 60 is only useful if the path to a paying buyer is short. Learning can be valuable, but learning can also become a hiding place. It can feel productive to watch tutorials, take courses, study tools, and prepare for months. But preparation is not income. A certificate is not income. A downloaded template is not income. A new software skill is not income unless someone will pay for the result. So the real question is not whether you can learn it. The real question is whether you can learn enough, fast enough, to solve a problem someone already pays for. If the skill gap is small, the setup cost is low, and the buyer is obvious, it may be worth testing. If the skill gap is large, the buyer is unclear, and the setup keeps expanding, it may become another way to lose time. After 60, the goal is not to become endlessly prepared. The next category is different. It often looks the most attractive online, but it may be the worst fit for someone who needs income soon. Slow payoff income ideas can be the worst fit for someone who needs income soon. YouTube channels, blogs, newsletters, digital products, affiliate links, online courses, content businesses. Some people make real money from them, but the problem is not whether they can work. The problem is how long they usually take before they work. Many of these paths do not begin with income, they begin with attention. And attention is hard. Before money comes in, you may need an audience. Before an audience comes in, you may need content. Before content works, you may need months of testing. Before testing improves, you may need to learn writing, recording, editing, search, social media, trust, offers, email lists, and platform rules. That is a lot of unpaid work before the first reliable payment. The idea is sold as flexible income, but underneath it may be a long attention-building project. If you are over 60 and financially comfortable enough to experiment, a slow payoff project may be fine. But if you need money in the near future, audience-based income can be a poor first move. Many videos show the upside, the person who made it work, and the monthly revenue after the system is already built. They often skip the quiet period. No audience yet, no trust yet, no traffic yet, no buyer yet, no proof that the work will ever pay back the time. So the question is not whether people can make money from content. They can. The better question is whether it can make money soon enough for your situation. Slow income is not automatically useless, but slow income sold as fast income is dangerous. If the income depends on building an audience, that could be a long and risky path. Now the risk changes. So far, the main danger has been wasted time. The next category can waste time and pull savings out before the idea has proven anything. Capital risk income. These are ideas where you usually spend money before you know whether the business will work. Examples include online stores, Amazon, FBA, Shopify stores, dropshipping, reselling and inventory businesses, franchises, paid lead generation systems, done-for-you online stores. Some of these businesses are real, but that is not the first question after 60. The first question is how much has to be risked before the first reliable profit appears. These models often look more concrete than content or affiliate income. There is a product, a store, a platform, a supplier, a system that can make the opportunity feel safer. But underneath, the risk can be heavier. Inventory has to be bought. Ads may need to be tested. Products may not sell. Customers may return items. Suppliers may fail. Shipping may cost more than expected. Platform fees may take more than expected. Software subscriptions may pile up. And the person selling the opportunity may get paid before you ever know whether the business works. Capital risk ideas can create the feeling of progress because money is moving. You bought the course, you opened the store, you ordered the product, you paid for the tools, you started the ads, you built the page, but spending money is not the same as building income. A failed inventory order does not just lose cash, it loses time. A store that never becomes profitable does not just waste setup costs, it consumes attention. A franchise or paid business system that underperforms can trap savings in a model that was never safe enough for the person's situation. That is why any capital risk idea needs a harder test. Can you prove demand before spending heavily? Can you start small enough that failure will not damage your life? Can you understand the real margin after fees, ads, refunds, taxes, tools, and time? Can you walk away without serious harm if it does not work? If the answer is no, the idea may be too heavy. The most dangerous income idea is often not the one that looks obviously foolish. It is the one that looks professional, that leads to the category that deserves the most caution. Because when financial pressure is high, certainty becomes easy to sell. The danger zone. Work from home and earn fast. Buy this system, join this program, pay for this training. Let us build the business for you. Follow these steps and watch the income come in. The promise is not just money, the promise is relief. That is what makes it powerful. But the more urgent your situation feels, the more carefully you need to judge anyone selling certainty. Some offers are designed to make the buyer feel safe before there is proof. They use words like simple, proven, automated, passive, guaranteed, beginner-friendly, or done for you. They show the success story, the income screenshot, and the lifestyle, but they may not show the failure rate, the extra costs after joining, how hard it is to find customers, or that the seller gets paid whether you succeed or not. A real income path should eventually be judged by whether customers pay you. But many money-making systems are judged first by whether you are willing to pay them. That should make you pause. If an opportunity asks for money before showing a clear path to real buyers, be careful. If the seller makes income sound easy, be careful. If the offer depends on urgency, limited spots, secret methods, or emotional pressure, be careful. If you cannot explain exactly who pays, why they pay, and what work creates the value, be careful. And if the only clear business model is that you pay someone else for the chance to learn the business model, be very careful. This does not mean every course is bad. Good training can exist. But after 60, the standard has to be higher. A course should not be the business. A system should not be the proof. A promise should not be treated as income. Before paying for any money-making program, ask one question. Can I see a realistic path from this information to a real buyer, a real service, and a real payment? If the answer is unclear, the safest decision may be to stop. because the most dangerous income ideas are not always the ones that look risky. Sometimes they are the ones that look comforting. They tell you there is still time. They tell you the system is simple. They tell you the risk has been removed. But after 60, any opportunity that sells certainty. At this point, the pattern should be clear. The question is not whether an income idea sounds possible. Almost anything can sound possible when it is presented well. The real question is whether it deserves your time, money, energy, and trust. So before choosing any income idea after 60, use this simple filter. First, how soon can this produce a real first payment? Not theoretical income, not possible income, not income after everything is built. A real payment from a real person for real value. Second, what does this cost before it pays? Money, tools, courses, inventory, ads, subscriptions, transport, setup time, unpaid learning, stress, and energy. Third, does this use something I already know? If it does, the path may be shorter. If it does not, the learning curve becomes part of the cost. Fourth, who is the buyer and how will I reach them? Start a digital product business, but who buys? Do affiliate marketing, but who trusts the recommendation? Open an online store, but who finds the product and why would they choose yours? If you cannot clearly name the buyer, the income path is not clear yet. Fifth, if this fails, can I recover? Can you recover the money, time, and energy? Can you walk away without damaging your savings, your health, your confidence, or your basic security? That may be the most important question. And there is one more question, important enough for its own video. Will this income affect your taxes, Social Security, pension, Medicare, healthcare coverage, or other benefits? Taxes and benefits can change how much of that extra money you actually keep. So do not rely on a generic internet answer. Check official sources. Speak to a qualified professional if needed. Do it before you build your plan around income you may not fully keep. Extra income can help, but only if you understand what it really changes. If you remember only one thing from this video, make it this. After 60, the goal is not to chase the biggest promise. It is to protect your time and your peace of mind before you know whether an idea actually works. It should not require large upfront spending before there is proof. It should not depend on blind trust in someone selling a system. And it should not make you feel like you have failed just because you are trying to solve a hard financial problem later in life. Many people over 60 are worried about money. That does not make them careless. It means the decision matters. So before choosing any income path, slow the promise down. Ask what has to happen before money arrives. Ask what it costs before it pays. Costs matter. Ask whether it uses something you already know. Ask who the buyer is. Ask whether you can recover if it fails. Because after 60, the best income idea is usually not the one with the biggest upside. It is the one with the shortest believable path from what you already know to someone willing to pay. So do not ask only, can this make money? Ask, can this make money soon enough, safely enough, and realistically enough to deserve my time? Soon enough and safe enough are the real questions. That is the real test. Because after 60, time is not just a resource. It is the thing every income idea has to earn.